doctoral degree chat today. I'm eating, and I actually just got back from working out not too long ago. Thank you to the folks who tuned into my premiere, my how I'm getting my doctoral degree for free premiere. I greatly appreciate y'all support. So thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Um, if you have any questions about the video, be sure to drop down in the comments and let's talk about it. While we have some dinner. So, if you missed it, my how I got a free doctoral degree posted at about 6:45 CST. So as you're logging in, if you haven't already, be sure to go back and watch that video. I basically talk about, how I'm getting a doctoral degree for free. And I just wanted to just add some insight for folks who are interested in going back to school. But of course, the finances is the biggest thing. Like, nobody wants to go into student loan debt. I would not recommend that you go into student loan debt, for a degree. That was, something that I did and got out of debt. It's over now, but I always want folks to just think a little deeper. You can get these things for free. They are out here, but it does take work, most definitely. But yeah, that's what I talked about in that video today, and we'll kind of just chat about it just a little here. Oh yeah, I'm a little greasy. I was on the treadmill, so excuse my grease. Let me kind of get rid of my grease. It is really showing up. But happy Wednesday. Remember, I am going live for at least 30 minutes. Ooh, child. Okay, that's a lot better. I am going live for at least 30 minutes each day this week. And I've been sticking to it. I'm super proud of myself because sometimes it gets hard. I'm trying to work out, cook dinner, and make sure I come talk with my folks. But thanks for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. And just going over that video, I kind of started out with talking about my educational journey. So in 2019, I was in South Florida. I'm a native Floridian. I'm not from South Florida, but I'm a native Floridian. And I was in South Florida, and I made a decision that I wanted to get a doctoral degree while I was teaching. I remember I actually told my principal at the time that I was going to go back and I was going to get my doctoral degree. And like, as I said it, I was thinking, really, girl? Like, you going to do that? And now, fast forward, here I am, doing that. But I made a decision that I was going to get a doctoral degree. I really wanted to, hone my craft a little more. I wanted to, be well studied in my own niche of education. That was something that was very, very just important to me. And that's why I decided to get a doctoral degree. In addition to, I'll be a first generation, doctoral degree recipient. And so that's very exciting as well to kind of set that trend for my future. So that was something that intrigued me as well. And once I made that decision, I knew that I wasn't going to go into student loan debt. So I was already in student loan debt at the time, and I wasn't trying to go into any more. So I knew that was not an option for me. And I, just kind of thought to myself, like, I need to get, I was working as a once I left teaching, I was working as a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And I was like, I really want to get back into education. That's, my first love. But I want to go into higher education. I want to work with college students. I like the college atmosphere. It was a great time. You know how people say, like, college is the best years of your life. Like, they did not lie. That was the best years. No bills. You ate what you wanted at the cafe. You were with your friends, partying, having a good old time, going to spring break, doing all the fun things. Like, I did all the fun things. Trust me, I took advantage of my college years. um, But that was something, that I was like, I really want to be in just the atmosphere of learners, of people learning, people from different cultures and backgrounds. Because that's a really good thing about college is like you are surrounded by people who you typically would not be around. And that's one thing I like about working on the college campus. It's a melting pot. So there's people from all over the place. You just meet, cool folks. You meet lifelong friends. I met, my best friend when I was an undergrad. I met another good friend in grad school as well. So, like, you meet people, who you're going to do life with. Like, me and my best friend, like, we talk like every day, and we met, like, it's now going on past, 10 years. So, you meet just like really solid, cool people. And that's one thing that I liked about college. In addition to, helping students learn. So, that was something that was important for me as well. So I was like, I want to get back into education, but I want to go into higher education. And one of the reasons why I chose that as well, in addition to all those other things, was because I knew that there would be like some educational benefit to doing that. So I knew that, I would be able to go back to school. I wasn't expecting to go for free, but I was expecting to go for like a discounted rate. And that was one of the other drivers for me as well. So I started working in higher education in summer 2019. And by summer 2020, I was enrolled in classes. So that was like, right after the pandemic hit. And I enrolled in classes. I started out with taking 3 classes and working full time, which it wasn't like I hadn't done that before, but it still was a lot because they were doctoral level classes. So a lot of reading, a lot of papers, things like that. I was like, oh, girl, I don't know who told you to do this. Like, I was always doing something. And I'm eating spaghetti, y'all. I needed something quick. I didn't feel like, spaghetti is like your quick midweek meal, so I had to make some spaghetti, some spaghetti tonight. I'll put that in my shorts later. But I was like, okay. I started taking courses. As you know, I finished my coursework last semester. So last semester, I finished my last 3 classes, and I took my comprehensive exam. I did my oral defense. So I did a lot last semester. And it kind of just put me in the space where now I'm working on my dissertation proposal to present to my committee. I actually met with my advisor today, and he let me know. He kind of told me something that I didn't want to hear, which was don't rush it, because I just want to be done. And he was like, you can't rush it. You want to make sure that once you get to the proposal part that you're ready, that the committee, understands what you're trying to do, that what you're trying to do actually aligns with everything that you've written about. So he was like, don't rush it. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to hear that though. Because like, I wouldn't say I'm rushing it, but I'm definitely on a steady path. I'm like, come on, let's get this thing going. I'm ready. How long is it going to take you to look over this? Like, give me a timeline. And I can tell that he, was kind of reading in between the lines of what I was really asking, which was, how long it's going to take for me to finish this last little part? Because ideally, I would like to be done by fall. But, I know I can't rush it. Good things take time. Um, but I am actively working on my dissertation proposal, which is basically I have to write chapters 1 through 3. I have written chapter 1. I need to do edits for it. I will have to write a chapter 2 from scratch, which is a literature review, which is going to take me a little minute. I'm trying to stick on a 2-week timeline for each chapter. That's just me. And I'm really starting this Saturday to do my edits for chapter 1. So once I turn that in, he'll look over it, tell me what I need to do. Then I go to 2, and then 3 is already written as well, but I have to do edits. And then most importantly, I have to make sure that this thing is like seamless, like across the board, that everything is like together. Because right now, I'm kind of like, I need to make sure that, I'm not all over the place in my writing, which I don't believe that I am, but that's something that I definitely have to make sure that, it's all linear. So that's something that I'm working on now. And one of the things that when I first started getting my degree, like I had an educational benefit of they paid $1,600 towards my schooling. So basically, they paid for two courses, up to $1,600. That was perfect, but I had to pay fees. Like y'all, the fees. When I tell you the fees were so expensive, they were more than the courses. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's funny because with my master's degree, I got my master's degree for free because I was going to school on like a federal grant, and they paid for tuition, but we had to pay fees. But the fees were like $200. Like it was not a lot. It was something that I could do each semester. And I just was like, so when I saw those fees that cost more than the courses, I was like, my word. Like I gotta, look for something to help me to do this. So I started looking. So once I first got in the program, just based on the time that I entered, I had missed the scholarship deadline, because that typically the scholarship deadline for certain, for the endowed scholarships or for the people who give money to the university, those open like in that previous November, so that you'll apply and then they'll have time to sort through the things, and then you'll be awarded for that upcoming fall. But I had missed that deadline as I didn't apply till like May, I think. um, but then once I actually got into the program, and I that November came, I applied, and that helped me to kind of eat some of those fees up. But before that, like all that came out of pocket, which sucked. But once I was able to get the scholarships, I paid into those things, or they kind of like ate some of those fees up. And then more, I noticed like more scholarships would come. So I would get endowed scholarships. I would get just little graduate school things. And so I started paying less and less until like I got enough scholarships where I would get a refund, which was so, yeah, I love refunds. I just got a refund on, what's that, Monday? So I'll be making a video about that. So y'all tune in for that. That may be my next week video. Excuse me. I have one more coming, so I'm trying to wait till I get all of them. But yeah, I will be making a video on my refunds from this semester. Y'all know that's my favorite time of the semester. And so be on the lookout for that. So that's coming up soon, possibly on next Wednesday. Or I need to give y'all an update on student loan forgiveness too, y'all. So much stuff been coming out, so it's gonna be one of the two. But eventually, basically, my scholarship started paying for the fees. Okay, fast forward to the spring of last year, spring 2022, they were like, the university was like, hey, we doing a new initiative. We are paying for y'all's doctoral degrees at full cost, tuition and fees. I was like, what? Like, are you serious? Tuition and fees? And it was like an upfront cost too. Like you fill out a form and then they add it, to your account. So I was like, oh yes, ma'am, tuition and fees. So that is, one of the perks of working at a university. Now, like up to a certain amount. Um, and then sometimes it will be, completely covered, especially for people that are of a certain probably level, I think. But this is for something that's an executive director, doesn't matter. This is for more than a year. So, and then, like, you got to be flexible in your thinking. Like, you got to welcome those good thoughts. Like, a lot for most of us, like, what we want is out there. We just got to go get it. So, if you want to go to school and you're not taking out, student loans, you got to go look for where that is. So, is that working for an educational organization? Is that working, at other companies? I know Amazon, Walmart, and Target. Those are three companies that are paying for folks schooling. I think Bank of America too, I think. I'm not quite sure. But there are, a lot of organizations out here that are really investing in their employees, and I think that's so I think that's so important because yeah, we're working for these people, and they're paying us. That's nice, but is your employer like really investing in you? Because that's really what work is about. Yeah, there's a give and a take there. So these are important things that like when you're interviewing for certain things for you to ask, or however with that. But you just definitely want to make sure that's so important. If they're doing the tuition reimbursement, meaning that they're going to reimburse you for any costs made towards your education. Is there a cap on the money for education for doctoral students, y'all? That is not true. Okay. Oh, you know, work some extra hours to needed some more hours, and but in addition to, I've also uh, to live on, but people are making it work. Okay? Program as a teaching assistant, as a graduate, that's kind of like a different. I mean, money for school is competitive, period. But you might have to submit like your writing. So there are, fellowships are a thing too, especially in graduate school. I know for us who are in our careers and are working full time, I know that that's a little difficult for some people, to live on a stipend like that, especially when kids are involved. I don't have kids. I'm a single person. So, people who fall within that can be like a little more flexible. But, if that's not an option for you, what is, Could you ideally transfer to a company where you could, get an educational benefit like what I'm getting? And I know education is not for everybody. Trust me. I know, some people, I'm not saying, switch your overall, career field, because that may not be for you unless you're interested in doing that. But where in your career field are they doing things like that? What companies are they doing those things? You got to research, you got to look. I know, especially for people in tech, I feel like tech gets all the benefits. Like they be serving dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They all making six figures, and they have like all these cool like benefits, free gym, working from home, all this fun cool stuff. So it's not just education. There are other fields where they're like, okay, you gonna stick on with us? All right, then we're willing to invest in you. I'm just dropping the spaghetti, but it takes research. So I just kind of knew that there would be like an educational benefit because I was in school at the time. And I don't know, like my ear was just to the streets. That's something else too. Like you have to keep your ear to whatever you're trying to get into. You gotta, stay close to it. So you gotta, keep somebody on the inside. You have to, be looking at, different news articles about it, watching different videos about it. You gotta keep your ear to the streets for these things. And that's another thing that's good about working at a university and then going to school there as well, because you're the first to hear about everything. You're the first to hear about that scholarship opening up because somebody who's in financial aid. You're the first to hear about this new thing that they're doing. You're the first to hear about everything. So that's one of the things that I like as well. And then for me, like, it just connects me to my work more because I can identify with students more in the sense that, hey, I'm taking classes too. Oh, you don't know how to use that tool? Well, let me show you because I have to use it for my classes too. So those are things that kind of just connect you, to the folks who you're working with. And I like that as well. And I know that that may be different, just across different organizations. If you don't work with students, then you would just still have that student experience. But it also, gives you something, to kind of work on outside of just going to work, right? Because I know for me, I don't just want to focus on going to work, all day, and all week. There's other things that I want to do as well. So that's why, just educational benefits are so, so important. So yeah, for my folks out there who just need some encouragement, y'all, all it takes is just a little research. One thing I talk about in the video is that as I was trying to get into, higher education, I spoke to somebody who was already in the field. So she was actually a director um, um, of an office. And I spoke with her. I asked her several questions. She really just gave me a lot of good information on what I needed to know as somebody who was coming in. And that was so, so important. And that's something that I would recommend. And I understand that some people, when they're trying to switch careers or they're trying to get into certain places, you may not know who to ask. That's why it's important to be a part of professional org. So if you are an accountant, there's a National Accounting Association. You want to be a part of these things because you meet people, and you meet people who want to help you, who have knowledge that they want to pass on to you, especially people who are transitioning, out of the field, or they've been in the field, longer. There are folks who, they want to give you this knowledge. I've had people, interview me, just about things. And I remember me being a student and interviewing, folks about different things. Like, interview people, ask them the quote, write down, come with your questions written down that you need to know, and ask them, hey, can I sit and talk with you? Can I give you a phone call? Can I take you out to coffee? Be upfront with, what it is you're trying to do. Because I think for me personally, when people start asking questions like that, it's like, oh Lord, what they want. But when you're up front, I listen, I just want to be in the field that you're in, but I feel like I'm having a hard time, and I want to talk with somebody who's been doing this. Be upfront with your acts. And I think people, most people would be like, okay, cool. I have, 30 minutes here, 20 minutes here, what you got? Shoot. So don't be afraid to like connect with people. That's one of the things that I like about education, is that like you have to connect with people. You have to collaborate. You have to be involved in professional development, which is something that I had as a teacher often, very often. And I noticed that other professions are not necessarily like that, but in education, you constantly have to do professional development. You're constantly talking to other people, working with people who you don't know, asking them questions, leaning on their expertise. And that's important to do in order to get to where you want to be. So if you're trying to figure out about the scholarships, you're trying to figure out about the fellowships, you need to go find that person who has that information about it, who can tell you, hey, this is what you need to do for this. This is what's coming out for this. This is how you do this. Find those people. They want to talk to you. They're not like mean and scared. Because I know for me, I'm an introverted person. I'm not like a person who like engages in conversation like with people that I don't know, on like a, just out and about outside of work, I'd say. But, doing something new, breaking out of your comfort zone, that's when you really see change within yourself. So don't be afraid to get out there, to talk to people, to see what it is that they have that you could utilize. I do use LinkedIn. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, LinkedIn," but I use it on a regular basis. I'm pretty active on there, and I see like a lot of just good information on there. I see a lot of people, who are really just knowledgeable about what it is that they want to do. And they don't mind, sharing that information with you. So I think that LinkedIn is a good, professional guide for things like that. Because you can find, groups of people who are in your field. So use your social media. Sometimes we forget about social media. Like, It's not just about posting pictures and videos and stuff, but there's people on there who, may be where you want to be or vice versa. So give those people a holler and, see what it is they can offer you. Also, so as I'm finishing up my degree, one of the things that I'm working on is kind of creating like a time schedule for myself. Like I said earlier, I want to be working on these chapters in like 2 week increments. But I'm like, I really need to like write these things down. I use a planner, but I need to, use my planner for things outside of work as well. So that's one thing that just kind of popped in my head just now. But yeah, y'all, if you haven't, check out that video. It is posted, it premiered at 6:45 CST, how I got a free doctoral degree. If you have questions, be sure to drop them down in the chat so that I can answer them. And I tried something new with my thumbnail too. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that thumbnail. I used a new app and I was like a little afraid, like, oh my gosh, like I haven't used a new app to do, to do like artsy stuff in a minute. So check out that thumbnail and let me know, do you like it? Could I add something? Could I take something away? Definitely check that out. And check out my playlist. So I have a whole playlist for my doctoral journey. I have several playlists, y'all. I got one for debt free, my doctoral journey, all things college, money for college, tax tips for students, the 1098T. I will be recording that soon as well, so be on the lookout for that. Y'all know it's tax season, so I will be just giving you some more updates on that. And of course, I have my all things student loans. I've been seeing some interesting things about student loans lately that keep popping across my timeline. Arizona just took back their lawsuit against the Biden administration regarding student loans. So, that's pretty interesting because they were one of the states to sue regarding just the student loan forgiveness plan that he's trying to put out. So I'm like, So I'll be talking about that soon as well. So y'all be sure, if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back tomorrow to chat it up with y'all. I'm going to finish eating my spaghetti, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.